Hey, how's everyone doing? This is DugongEnjoyer, and I'm going to be doing a match review of a couple of Ark Nova games that I played against Johan in the Ostrich Olympics. What are the Ostrich Olympics? That is a great question, and I think you can ask our favorite panda, the propagandist, about that. So let's just dive into the games. The format of the match is first we are going to ban four maps. Johan's going to ban one, then I'll ban two. Johan will ban another one, and then we'll uh, kind of randomly decide, let the game decide who goes first, and we'll pick one of the four remaining maps to play, and we'll decide that in the blind, and we won't know what the other person has picked. So, in terms of bans, Johan decided to ban map 2A, outdoor areas. Pretty fair. The partner zoo is quite good on this map. I decided to ban 7A, ICP. I think the kind of extra income that you get leads to a kind of game that I don't enjoy as much to play. I think it's a strong map. I mean, obviously, if I don't ban it, I could play it, but I kind of prefer to play the other maps, and I also chose to ban Research Institute. I think the ability to sell cards leads to some more, slightly more kind of degenerate games, and it's kind of imbalanced. And the times two on the map is just way too powerful, especially if you can get an archaeologist. Though sometimes you will pitch the archaeologist if the right situation occurs. So, anyways, let's get started on the first game that we played. So, what's interesting is that you get to see. Oh, this is not the first game. 1 second. This is the second game. This is the first game that we played. So what's interesting is that you can see if you're first or second player before you pick the map. So if I was first player, also you get to see what the rewards are. So because there's a university on 5 and a partner zoo on 8, winning these is really, really critical. Basically, if you win these, you're almost certainly gonna win the game. So I went with outdoor areas because one, I think a lot of the high level players all agree that it is one of the more powerful maps, especially now that you have access to water next to the tower. And two, what's going to be really critical is being able to release animals. If you can release a large animal and get the university on 5, it's gonna be really helpful to springboard you into getting the reward on 8 and then winning the game. And releases are especially powerful on observation tower because you can reuse the enclosure for an extra 2 appeal. So I think with the double whammy there, the being second player, I think, is a little less of a detriment there. So let's start and take a look at our starting hand. So Johan chose Research Institute. I think it's a fair choice. And here is our starting hand. Our end games are climbing and diverse. I'm probably going to be going with diverse, most likely. And let's see what we're working with. So I decided to keep aquatic, anaconda, and slow worm. I think I'm going to be able to get these animals out round 1, and then we can do aquatic round 2. And I also decided to keep the vulture because it's a pretty good potential release candidate. And it also fits the Asia project. So looking at the starting display here, couple of notable cards are the Hornbill, matches the Asia project. Australia release and Monkey release obviously can be very dangerous if the opponent has the right animal in hand. And of course, native farm animals. I think native farm animals is one of the most high potential cards in the game. It's like so incredibly powerful, gives you a lot of appeal, gives you endgame shields, can almost single-handedly win you a game if played correctly. It's how powerful it is. So let's see. Yohan takes partner zoo, grabs Asia. I think that makes sense. We're going to grab Americas so that we can play the Anaconda. Yohan plays Side Entrance, one of the best sponsors to get out in round one. It's going to give him a really big income advantage, and I think we're already fighting uphill a little bit here. So build size 2 next to the observation tower. Yohan also builds. He builds a size 4 next to the Research Institute and his side entrance. And here I decide to X down sponsors. I don't want to break 5 and then take cards, and then opponent takes cards, and I'm not able to play my animals. So Yohan takes cards. He takes snapping. Draws from deck. I think he should really be snapping up his farm animals, or maybe the Hornbill for the project. I think not taking the farm animals is probably a big mistake. I think it's just like too powerful, unless you have like really nothing going on. So I build a size 1 for the slow worm, since now I'm not at risk of losing the farm animals. I don't think there's a snapping animal I'm worried about. All the alligators need to be touching water in order to be played. So Yohan X's down his association, which is kind of interesting, because I guess he doesn't want to take animals because he thinks that I might have the pilfering monkey, which is fair. I have Americas and a 2 size. It's a very valid concern. So now I take cards. I'm going to snap up the farm animals. As I've mentioned, I think it's probably 100% a snap there. And then Yohan plays the Quarantine Lab. It's interesting. I wonder why he didn't play the Quarantine Lab last round and instead X down his Assos. Because if he plays a Quarantine Lab, then I can't pilfer him anyways. So we have a pretty straightforward plan. We're going to play the Anaconda, we're going to play the Slow Worm, and then we're going to break. Opponent plays the Vulture here. I am feeling kind of scared. It's a great release because it only gives you 5 appeal. Gives you a shield and a rep. So if he releases that, I'm going to be in a world of hurt. And one of the cons about playing the long build Vulture early is that it doesn't give you that much appeal. But with the side entrance here, I mean, I don't think there's much to worry about when it comes to money. So I'll spend an X on my sponsor's action, and I'll break. So Yohan decides to spend 2x tokens to do Asia 2. Takes upgrades build, takes snapping, snaps engineer. I mean, engineer side entrance is absolutely terrifying. But back to the spending the 2x tokens there. If you had just played the quarantine lab, his association would be F5 right now. Instead of Xing down association, his association would be F5, so he would have saved his X tokens there. I'm really curious what he was thinking about with his association X down there. But so he wants to do his project ASAP. He takes snapping for engineer. That's going to be a lot of endgame points for him if he manages to fill his map. So I am feeling really, really behind now. I need to end the game as fast as possible, because if he's able to fill map and then leverage his income lead, I don't think we can beat those end games. So we do the aquatic, we upgrade build, and we snap the monkey. So my thinking is we snap the monkey, we can build a kiosk pavilion here, size 2, size 1, get some points from native, and then draw up the jungle, and that's going to get us to 5 shields to win the university. And if our opponent didn't release his bird, so I'm feeling grateful there. I think if he releases the bird and gets engineer, I'm basically lost. So he takes cards, probably wants to play engineer and then build. So we're gonna do our plan. We're gonna build, drop the jungle, build a size 1 for our farm animals, and look at that. The brown spider monkey shows up, and so now I've reassessed my plans. If we can play the spider monkey and release it, that's going to give us a total of 6 shields, which is going to let us win the university and the partner zoo in one fell swoop. And I'm calculating my money. If I have enough money to build a size 4 and to play both of these animals, and I do. So it's 14 plus 9, that's 23, that's 31 money, and we have 31 money exactly, assuming we don't break. But we're going to gain some appeal from the native farm that we're going to be playing, and we might be the ones breaking. So we'll definitely have enough money to do what we want to do there. So pretty important, I X down animals first, because if you think about the action order that we're going to be taking, we're going to want to snap the monkey, we're going to want to play native farm, and then we're going to build, and then presumably cause the break. And so if we take cards first, cards is going to be in front of animals, and that's going to mean we're going to need to spend more X tokens to get both the monkey, the squirrel monkey and the spider monkey out. So we X down animals first, so it's in a better spot when we want to play our animals next round. Opponent builds some kiosks in a size 3. We snap up our monkey. And the opponent plays the howler. And he chooses not to move his cards. I think that he thinks that we're going to break. But no, sir. We're going to play our native, and then we're going to build. Opponent plays the playground, get some appeal, get closer to the university there. And something to note is that our opponent is going to be able to leech off of our jungle project with the Howler. Assuming that they didn't draw it in their cards action, I think they could have snapped. I think they could have snapped the jungle instead of the engineer, but maybe they drew it from the cards action. So now opponent takes cards. I think not boosting it there might have been a little punishing. Maybe you want to snap the Peafowl or the Jaguar. I think are pretty reasonable snaps from the display, but drawing from deck I think is okay too. So here I just spend an X, cause the break, ditch the Vulture, not really useful to us anymore. So here, I'm deciding between snapping the Peafowl and the Jaguar. I think there's merits for both, because we're going to play the monkey, we're going to release it. So the Jaguar fits very nicely in the size 4. We already have Americas. It's a project. But the Peafowl is probably just as good of an animal to play. Gets us some pavilions. And is probably better for the opponent since they already have Asia, though they've done the project. But the size 3 is going to help them fill their map for engineer and side entrance. So I think I probably should have went for the Peafowl, but I don't think the Jaguar is like that much worse. An opponent takes the Peafowl. I think that's pretty reasonable. So opponent builds a size 3 and a pavilion and another pavilion with the engineer. What's interesting is that they cover the clever, but then they don't use the clever. So that's probably not the best there. Probably just better to save it. No reason to cover it now. So I play the monkey and the spider monkey. Monkeys go brrr. And here I think that the opponent so the opponent plays clever down my build. Opponent plays the Peafowl, which I think is fine. But what they and their plan is to leech off of the jungle project. But I think what they could also consider doing is taking the Science 2 Rep University to block me from getting it as a reward. And so I have to take the Double Science University. It's not the end of the world, because I can get, science. There's a science museum on display. Having science is not bad, but I think I would much rather have Science 2 Rep, so that I can get closer to my next upgrade. But if the opponent blocks me, then they don't get to do a project this round. So maybe it's just better to do the project. Or, yeah, do the project. So I get the Science 2 Rep. I get Asia Partner Zoo. Upgrade sponsors. Get size 2. Get my 5th rep, upgrade animals. Not quite sure what the break is at. Definitely not 9 out of 9. I think it's, I don't think anyone took hearts. I think it's at 0. So opponent releases their size 3. Good size 2s. Yeah, so now I take cards, breaks at 2 out of 9, and I just draw probably the perfect animal here. We got the Asian elephant. We got the capuchin, so very playable. And then the elephant's going to help us close out the game and give us a chance to realistically get Asia 5. So now I'm kicking myself for not getting the peafowl. But hey, here we are. Opponent plays hydrologist. And so now I spend 2x's to break. Gives us a lot of money. I don't think there's any reason to just only break 5. I think just cause the break. Get the X tokens. Deny the opponent the X token and get first snap, which hey, we got the rhino. And the rhino's looking really good because we can do America's 5 with it. And can't forget about native. We want to sort of build not over here as much as possible so we can get the endgame points. And so if we do some calculation, we can build our 5 size here. We can build our 4 size here. And that'll give us, there's a chunk of 6. So that'll give us 2 endgame shields on native with a little bit of room to spare. Opponent takes the breeding program. That's okay. Maybe science museum, maybe research. And wow, expert on Asia shows up. Opponent instead decides to snap up the snowy owl, which he does have 2 birds. It is a pretty good value animal, and you have the Asia partner zoo, but I think the expert on Asia is so good, especially as observation tower. You can get the marketing income bonus. So the expert on Asia is extra good for me. So I play the jaguar. We hunted some, I think, irrelevant animals. We don't really want to be playing them. And then we play the capuchin. And now we can do species 4 for 3 shields. Kind of take cards, cause the break, go to the next round. And we want to go fast. I think we've built up a pretty sizable lead here, and I think we just want to keep our keep our foot on the pedal, and go fast and not give our opponent time. So opponent builds here, builds a petting zoo, builds a kiosk. They're, looking pretty likely that they're going to be able to fill their map, which I was hoping to be able to prevent, but I mean, with side entrance engineer, it's pretty much I don't think you can really play fast enough to prevent that from happening. So we build our size 5 for our elephant, which we'll be planning on playing next round, maybe, if we have the money. So here's an interesting decision point, right? Right now, I can do the project immediately and take 5 money income. Or I can snap up Expert on Asia and take the marketing income. And so, there's, if we take the 5 money income, the reason I would want to do that is if I can play both the elephant and the rhino in the same move. So we'll be at 27 money, 55 money. Build a size 4 is 47 money. Break 5 would be 55 money. So that would be enough to play both these animals. So I think maybe I should have done that. In the moment, I didn't actually do the math to see if I could. I just thought, oh, like, gotta snap up the expert, play the expert with the marketing. That seems really good. I think that's a fine plan too. It's, the expert in Asia is like not going to be going anywhere. But I don't think snapping it up and playing it is that bad, though. I do think that it is slightly worse than taking the 5 money income and being able to play both the rhino and the elephant. Opponent plays the ornithologist. That gets him some money back, but that feels maybe like a little bit of a too slow of a move. They know that I want to do a project and then break. So I wonder if maybe they should just take animals, play the snowy owl, and then see if they can maybe find something better to play. Like if you get like an explorer would be like so good. A science lab would be really good. I think ornithologist is it's a little bit too late to be playing the ornithologist right now, especially when it doesn't give you any points and I'm so far ahead. So I do species, get marketing, play expert on Asia. And we have a very diverse zoo here. We're at 4 right now, but I think it's pretty easy for our opponent to maybe play a predator or an herbivore. But I think we'll get at least three endgame shields on this. Opponent takes animals, plays a leopard. Yep, exactly. Now we're tied on predators. Hunts a dusky leaf monkey and plays the scarlet macaw, which is super good. Gonna help again fill up their map some more. So now I break. So here is another interesting decision. We could snap the cheetah. We could snap the cheetah. And then, well, I don't know. Because opponent has a size 5, right? We know that they have the sponsor that gives you the tokens for the base projects. I forget the name right now. So with that, they'll be able to do 4 predators. But what I'm thinking here is kind of looking at this polar bear exhibit. It kind of fits pretty nicely over here. And then we can build a size 4 over here for the money. It does eat up one of our native endgame points, but it does give us 2 points immediately, right? So it's really only costing us 1 point. And then if we, take a look at our endgame, it's going to give us a bear icon. So we're going to be able to win, give us a bear and a predator. So we're probably going to be able to get the full point on the end game here. So it's actually going to be worth 5 points for us. So Actually, just better than not playing it and getting the native end game point. So that's what I decided to do. Build over the clever, play the polar bear exhibit. Clever down cards. Don't need to take cards anymore. I think we're pretty close to ending the game. Opponent snaps up the cheetah. And here they take a partner zoo, which feels a little bit slow. I mean, I think you really want to be going all out on projects here. You have the cheetah, so I would maybe look to X down cards, take a build action, play the sponsor that I mentioned before, play the cheetah, and then get the double clever bonus. I think this is one of the one of the top bonuses that you can get in the game. It just really speeds up your ability to take the most efficient actions. But grabbing the partner zoo, a little bit too slow, I think. So I build size 4 for the rhino. Opponent plays the breeding program. Play the rhino. Get a pavilion from Expert on Asia. Keeping track of the amount of space I need to save for the end game for native, and we grab Americas. And we flock the reindeer with him. Opponent plays the snowy owl and the monkey. Clever's down cards. But yeah, just we got them on the back foot, right? They just don't have the time to do what they want to do. I grab X tokens so that next move I can break. I considered getting the 12 money I considered getting the 12 money if there was a line to end the game this round. I could have maybe played the alligator and the pond turtle, but that's actually only 11 points. So I think not grabbing the 5 money income comes to bite us a little bit, just in terms of our ability to end the game ASAP. Had we been able to get the rhino and the elephant out this round, I think we could have definitely ended this round. But as it stands, I don't think there's a way for us to end the game this round. So the plan is to break, and then we can either play the elephant for exactly 11 points to get us to 99 and then do Asia 5. Or if we don't want to give our opponent another action, we can just play an elephant and some maybe the python to just end the game in one move. Opponent chooses to build here, which I think maybe is a mistake. Oh, sorry, it's not a mistake. Opponent spent their worker, so they couldn't do a project. I was thinking if they had a worker, they could do a project, get the clever bonus, and then I'm gonna break, and then they have the ability to. Well, I guess they wouldn't. If they thought maybe they had 2-3 turns, they could next turn build, Then I do my thing. Then they do animals. Then I end the game, and then they can do predators 4. So yeah, getting that partner zoo, really punishing them there. They could have done a project this round. Just do like, species, donate, get clever, and I think that would set them up for a better position to maybe get an eagle or something and get something going next round. They do successfully cover the map, so they have a lot of endgame points coming in. And I break here. So here, I snap up the Python. I'm thinking, okay, do I want to play the elephant and do Asia 5, or do I just want to, play 2 animals and end the game? So if I play the Python and the elephant, I get an extra 3 appeal from the 3 Asia signs. So doing Asia 5 gets me 15 more points. Playing the rock python and the 3 Asia pavilions gets me 10 points. So it's only 5 more points if I wait to do the project. And I think that giving the opponent the extra turn is not worth those 5 points. So my plan is just going to be ending the game immediately. Kind of funny that, we have Asia 5 ready to go, but we end the game before we can do that. So opponent took the Galapagos giant turtle, which is a massive point bomb. Definitely, I should have maybe considered taking that. I didn't think that they would be able to play it. Well, first of all, I was looking at their Americas icons, and I was like, oh, like they can't play. They don't have 2 Americas, but I forgot they were on Research Institute, so they could actually play it. And then I figured they wouldn't want to play it in the size 5, and even if they did, it probably wouldn't be enough points. But I think maybe I should have thought more about what outs my opponent can have to make a comeback in this game. And so maybe they do a release, and then they play like an eagle and the tortoise, and then do another project or something like that, or play a big sponsor with their extra action. So I think definitely should have considered taking that, because it doesn't really matter if we play the python or maybe the flamingo or even just the pond turtle to end. Denying our opponent the out maybe is just the tighter play. But I had sort of kind of thought that I was just gonna win, so I didn't think too much about it. But I think especially in these, if you're trying to maximize every edge, if you're trying to maximize every edge you can, you really got to consider kind of like what your opponent's outs are, and stopping them from being able to win the game that 1 or 0.5% of the time. Yeah, our opponent, releases the bird and frees up a size 4, and they're probably going to be able to. In fact, yeah, they have 70 money. They're definitely going to be able to play the tortoise. So I play the python, play the elephant. Maybe I should have played the elephant first to see what endgames I got in case it changes what animal I want to play. But technically the correct line, but I was just had kind of thought I was gonna win anyways, and wasn't kind of doing these like micro things to make sure I'm making the best play. So our opponent plays the dugong, which is another big beefy animal. I'm me, I'm an enjoyer of the dugongs. Very, very cute looking aquatic animal over here. So that's 12 points. You know, playing the tortoise, that's a lot of points. Luckily, I got some good end games. You know, if I had worse end games, I might have that might have been a throw right there. Not taking the Galapagos tortoise. So there's an 18-point difference, but they got, you know, the side entrance and engineer end games. They got end games from Quarantine Lab. They missed breeding program. They got hydrologist. So 119 to 130. You know, maybe if my end game is a little worse, maybe if I don't have like a nice second animal besides the elephant to play, and I let them play the giant tortoise, you know, small chance I could have lost there, right? So don't want to loosen up just because it's you think you're gonna win. It's the end of the game. Still want to play super tight. But yeah, we beat a side entrance, and all it took was a free university and a free partner zoo, and releasing a spider monkey, which is a really good release on observation tower. So I'm counting my blessings there. Happy I won game 1, and so now we go to game 2. So on game 2, I get to go first, and you know, I'm trying to choose between, you know, what are our options here? It's Park Restaurant, Research Institute, and Hollywood Hills, and I think Research Institute is a clear choice, especially because I'm going first. I have access to these draw spots on the ground, and you know, the free university, and I think the one of the most low key elements of this map is this clevering reward. I think it's so good, and will help you just spiral out of control if you manage to get a lead. So I take 6A, opponent takes observation tower. I think yeah, this is just one of the best maps now. Okay, taking a look at our starting hand. Let me grab a sip of water. So, yeah, looking at our starting hand, there's nothing that stands out too much. There's nothing that matches the project. So, the King Vulture is a little bit better than usual on this map because the Research Institute requires you to only need 2 birds to play. So, I think Barred Owl Hut, King Vulture, and then really the breeding program's okay. But the projects are, you know, we're not racing to like species 5 or something like that. So, and there's no easy route to 2 science, it looks like. So I just go with the double petting zoos, the Barred Owl Hut and the King Vulture for some bird synergies. So let's take a look at the display. Yeah, again, we have native farm animals, just absolute beast of a card. Did a lot of work last game. I think this is a really good map for it. It's really easy to kind of just build a little bit over here, maybe even get over here. You get 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like really easy appeal, and then like an endgame shield or 2. So looking at that, there's a, you know, monkey sponsor for the monkey project, but I don't think that's really up for consideration at all. I think monkeys, when it's blocked at 1, is no guarantee that you're gonna be able to see any, because there are fewer monkeys than other animals. So unless you have some monkeys in hand already, I don't think it's worth playing this. I'm sorry, but this garbage card. I mean, it has its uses, you know. On some maps, it can be pretty good, but I think this is probably like one of the worst 3 cards in the game. So really, I'm looking at native farm and I'm looking at this fur seal. You know, if you can get this fur seal out early, it's super, super powerful, right? Um, and on research institute especially, it's very easy to get it out because you don't need the upgraded animals. You just build a size 5, get a touch the tower, and then you can play it. So I think yes, native farm is really good, but I think getting out a fur seal um, is yeah, it's a tough decision, and let's see what we do here. Opponent plays guided school tours. Oh, I forgot to mention. So originally the plan, right, was with the barred owl hut and the petting zoo animals, is that we would X down cards, um, do sponsors at 6 over here, play the barred owl hut, and then with the petting zoo we can grab the university. And if our opponent goes for a partner zoo start, which they might with Africa as a project as well as habitats, though no habitats 5, we can get both our universities and then get a upgrade round 1. But I think with the first seal showing up, I kind of changed that plan. And also with native farm, I mean, I definitely want to snap one of these. I do end up snapping the first seal, which I think is correct. I think the first seal is just that good. The early full throated just lets you like uh, grab your upgrades early, and then just lets you do projects later and not have to worry about grabbing your partner zoos and universities later in the game when you really want to be getting points as fast as possible, especially on this map when you have the busted clever ability. So yeah, opponent grabs Africa partner zoo, and so now I'm thinking, all right, can we get out this first seal this round? And so if we wanted to do that, we would have to X down our sponsors, build a size 5 over here, take another build action, build like a pavilion or something, and then play the first seal, and then we get to maybe grab a partner zoo. But that's like 4 actions, right? So our opponent can build cards, animals, that's 3 actions, and then break. So they're going to be able to break before we can spend our new worker. And that just seems a little bit too inefficient of a plan. And I did some math. And if we play both our petting zoo animals, that's going to be 6 money for the petting zoo, 14. That's 20 money. We're going to have 5 money left over. We're going to be at 9 appeal. We're going to have 12 income. So it's going to be 17 money. 17 money, we build 5. It's going to cost us 5. We get 5 back. We're going to be at 12 money. And then if we break 5, we're going to be at 17 money exactly. So if we play both these petting zoos, then we can play the first seal next round. And I think that's also a pretty solid play. That's what I decided to go with. I decided to build. Our opponent takes a build action, builds next to the tower. Makes sense. And now, we, as we've stated in the plan, we need to break 5 for that money, right? But if we break 5, and then opponent takes a cards action, then we don't have the money to be able to play both the petting zoos and also the first seal. Though we do have hand size and our opponent doesn't, so they're going to need to discard some cards. But I'm kind of banking on maybe our opponent wants to do animals first and then break. Also, we're not threatening to take the farm animals. I think they want to play animals and then snap up the native farm. But so I think we're going to break. Hopefully they don't. And then we have the sneaky Mangolica, and we can dig away this native farm animal. And so that's the plan I go with. Our opponent does take the animal's action. Played the frilled lizard. Kind of interesting as to they took the Africa and played the frilled lizard. I guess they're going for a quick habitats too. Since I took the hand size uni, they probably couldn't take hand size, so they took Africa. We played frilled lizard, get a peel boost from the tower. We play our petting zoo animals. I played the Mangolica second to sandbag the digging. We dig away the native farm animals. So instead of breaking, our opponent decides to build one, which kind of makes sense if they're going to be, going for a quick habitat diversity next round. So we just break with cards here because, we have hand size, so it doesn't matter, and then we can build 5 next round, and cards won't be in the way. We draw up the Sun Bear. Very, very lucky. What can I say? Probably the best card in the game. So not much more to say about that. Opponent takes cards, snaps up the fox. So if they didn't have a quick way to habitat diversity, they have definitely a easy way to get Africa too. They play the fox, clever down sponsors, and do the project. So here we grab Africa. We don't have a project to do. We could grab Asia. Might as well grab Africa since it's a project up here. And even if we don't end up grabbing Africa or Asia, we are on Research Institute, so we still can play the Sun Bear. And something of note is the Rhino shows up. So opponent does a similar plan to the fox, but he plays the Tamarin to clever down sponsors. Very nice. And does plan to do Habitats 3 and save the fox probably for Africa 5 is my guess. And we stick with the plan. We build a size 5. We're going to play the first seal next. Opponent does habitats, upgrades, build, gets snapping for the Rhino. I think that makes sense. We play the Barred Owl Hut. Perception, I think Polar Bear Exhibit makes a lot of sense. It's the only sponsor we have in our hand, and with the Sun Bear, it's going to give us an extra 2 appeal. The opponent takes a build action, builds a Kiosk Pavilion, size 2, makes sense. I think maybe they could have went size 2, Kiosk Pavilion, size 1. They started with 9 money, so they couldn't do a full build, but if they cover this money, they can get the size 1 next to the tower, because they do have the fox. So we play our first seal, get our worker. Slight waste of the worker because we don't have a project to do with it. So we, gonna be grabbing the Science 2 Rep Uni, which we could have grabbed over here. So it is what it is. Having the second worker and getting the uni without needing to go here and getting your upgrade early is still worthwhile, but just unfortunate we don't have a project to do. Opponent X downs animals. We grab our second uni. And here, upgrade build. I don't love this. I think maybe I should actually be upgrading sponsors. I mean, I don't have any money, so I can't build anyways. So like, I think what I was thinking about at the time was that I wanted to play the polar bear exhibit like this, so that and this requires upgraded build. I was thinking, oh, I have the king vulture, like I'm gonna need to build an aviary later maybe, but in hindsight, I think I should just upgraded sponsors, and then breaking and getting the money is just going to be better. I mean, we can always play the polar bear exhibit here for the 5 money, right? Opponent plays free range New World monkeys. So they're monkeying around. They got 2 monkeys going for some monkey shenanigans here. I mean, look, it like gave them it got them 1 appeal. So you're gonna get them an endgame shield. Maybe if you leave these 2 alone, but I feel like money is a very useful bonus to be getting. So leaving it on the table like feels a little bad. Being able to get it early, especially because you have upgraded build, would be nice. So okay, get you 1 appeal, maybe an endgame shield. It feels like really bad for a sponsor, right? Yeah, I guess it is a part of a project, so maybe worth another 3 points, right? So I snapped the Rhea. It is another continent. So I'm thinking, okay, next round, what do I want to do? I want to grab Asia. Then I will play the Rhea, and then I can do Habitats 3 as my project. And you really want to be prioritizing doing projects ASAP and as many projects as you can. I think the game has evolved quite a bit since even a few months ago, right? Tempo is the name of the game. So opponent takes X's down their cards. They don't have hand size. Doesn't want to help me break. I think that makes sense. They like what they have in their hand. Would rather have the X token. So now I can either break or play polar bear exhibit. I figure if I play the polar bear exhibit, I play it here, I get the 5 money, but like what am I going to do with the money? Maybe I could build like a size 2. But then I'm like kind of wasting my upgraded build. So then I'm gonna X down animals, like take a bad cards action. Sure, like opponent can't do much either, but I think that I don't want him to get X tokens either. Because he'll, maybe he'll X down his animals next. So I think just breaking, get the X token back, and again, wish I upgraded sponsors. I didn't even use my build, right? I could have just had 5 more money there. So kind of an interesting display now. There's a horse, which is pretty good for me, right? That's my 3rd petting zoo animal. It's a very nice appeal to money ratio. There's a bird breeding. Opponent knows that I just picked up the Rhea. So bird breeding could be deny snap. But there's also a tortoise, which is African. So I think that that's also like a reasonable snap. So opponent snaps up the tortoise. I think that makes sense. And now they grab Asia. So now I'm thinking, okay, like what do I want to do here? Original plan was we would grab Asia. They grabbed Asia. There's also the bird breeding still here. And something to note is that I got these draw card spots. Opponents only at 1 rep, so they can't drop the bird breeding. They can't snap it away from us. They can maybe If they have a snapping reptile, that's the only way to deny it. But I think it's pretty safe. So I go and I grab Americas, and with the intent of doing bird breeding with it. And I guess upgraded build kind of, well, no, I didn't need to upgrade. I could have just upgraded build with this action instead of last turn. So I could have just had 5 more money, which would be very useful right now. So opponent takes a build action, does kiosk size 1, size 3, covers the money, covers the rep. Makes sense. Can't afford the reptile right now. So I build. I drop the bird breeding. And, you know, I could have built a size 1 there, but I chose not to. The reasoning is there's a basic research that I can play from range. And that's going to give us 1, 2, 3 shields. With the bird breeding, it's going to get us to 5, get us 10 money. And so if we play this from range, that's going to cost us 3. That brings us down to 10, and then we have just enough to play the Rio. So if we build a size 1, we will not be able to afford that. And if we play the Rio first, it doesn't give us any extra tags. So just going to play the basic research next move. And the Turtle Boy shows up. Call back from last game. Opponent breaks 4 for money, so that he can play the African turtle that he picked up. But you know, maybe he didn't need to do that, right? If he thinks that I'm gonna play basic research, then he's gonna get the money from basic research and be able to play it. So maybe he can greed a bit, take a different action, so that he doesn't need to break to get the money. But then if he does that, what I see that he was trying to wait for me to play it and then not play it, I don't know. I think I would still play it. But then he runs a risk of me maybe I don't want to play it. Maybe I have a different sponsor I want to play. And so, you know, it's something to think about. It's always fun to think about these next level strats. So this gets me another upgrade, and now we're at the point where we kind of want to decide, okay, what are the last 2 upgrades that I want. And I think I want to upgrade, so Research Institute is the one map where you can get away with not upgrading animals, since you don't need to, if you have a elephant or a rhino or an eagle, the Research Institute lets you play without upgraded animals. But just generally, I found games to be pretty difficult and awkward to play if you don't have upgraded animals, since it requires you to be at power 5 in order to play 2 of them. And I've just had games where it's just really difficult. I'm need to spend these X tokens to get my animals to 5 to play 2. Whereas with upgraded animals, I think pretty underrated part of it is the ability to play 2 animals at power 3 and 4, as well as playing animals from display. So just if I'm trying to maximize efficiency, maybe I'll upgrade cards association, but I don't know. If I upgrade cards and not animals, then it's less likely that I'm going to be able to, get to the 10-11 reputation range. So, also with upgraded animals, I can play the horse from range. So that's what I decided with. I decided to go with the animals, and then I'm going to upgrade association. I think cards is a little bit like cards is like the worst upgrade. Unless you have really high reputation early, I feel like you don't really need to upgrade cards with how common it is to take snapping. Cards is generally not an issue. Just being able to grab more partner zoos, being able to donate, I think is really, really useful. So that's what I do. And I play the Rhea. Draw it into native seabirds. And I Percept into Australia release. Now I am feeling really good. I feel like I have a lot of options here. I have a Sun Bear for my late game. That's pretty secure. I got a Seabirds that I can play. I got projects. I got like a nice Vulture for a pretty efficient point animal. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Opponent plays a Tortoise and the Fox. And they clever down cards. Fair enough. So, spend next, do a project. I decide to... So now, we want to decide, okay, what... Do we want to play Australia release? Do we want to play bird breeding? So, I decided to play Australia release because I wanted to get this marketing reward. And we can be pretty efficient with getting our sponsors out, since native seabirds is like kind of time sensitive. And then if we play polar bear exhibit, we can play polar bear exhibit over here, touch the 3 extra waters, get the 3 extra appeal, and then play seabirds. We could have played bird breeding, played polar bear, and then looked to play seabirds at some point. But we run the risk of maybe not being able to do our actions in the order we want them to, because we were originally at 23 appeal, so the polar bear would get us to 25, and then we can't build pavilions, we can't play animals, we can't play hydrologists. So I went with the release so I can get this out of the way immediately. We get a very nice 10 money bonus. Probably like 3rd best bonus in the game. Just lets us, play the polar bear for money, and then spend 2 money to donate. Oh, there was a little bit of a bug, right? So there was a sea cave in the last slot here, and so the display is like pretty stacked. There's a lot of good stuff here, and kind of trying to decide like what card I want to snap here. And I decided to take Sea Cave because, so horse is good for me, but like doesn't do anything for the opponent. So I don't need to snap it. If my opponent denies it from me, like okay, like don't love it, but not the end of the world. It'd be strictly a deny snap for them. Obviously, hydrologist is pretty solid. There's merit to taking this. The tortoise I think is just a very, very efficient point bomb, especially if you can sell like 2 or 3 cards with it. But the tortoise, our opponent's not on Research Institute this time, so they only have 1 Americas. They grab 2 partner zoos already. They can't grab Americas unless they upgrade Association. So I think the most threatening card on the display there is the Sea Cave. If they don't have any other projects to do, they might have to do Africa too, when they're, much closer than we are to Africa 5. I mean, they can release the frilled lizard from the Australia release, sure, but that's a much worse release, though a little bit better on the observation tower. I just think letting them release the tortoise is too good, though. The 3 sides will not be next to the tower, at least. So, get my donation in. I clever down cards. I think one of the underrated aspects of Bard Owl Hut is all the perception that you get. means that you don't have to take cards as often, and cards is the action you want to be taking least in the game, since it provides you like no points. It's just a necessity to kind of cause the break and to get you cards. But if you're getting refilled every time you play bird and you get a little bit of selection, that's a pretty solid utility that's like difficult to quantify. Opponent breaks, which makes sense. And a little bit rewarded for picking up the sea cave. Now an alligator shows up, though our opponent has snapping first, so they deny it from us, which I think is correct. Just letting us reuse that enclosure for values, I think too powerful. Though he, I think, would have preferred to pick up this monkey or the tortoise, so that they're getting pretty close to the primate project. Savannah shows up. They do have the fox, but not the most threatening release. And again, we run into like, okay, what do we snap here? And I was debating between the tortoise and the monkey. I think the tortoise is just as I mentioned, really good, but the monkey, I think our opponent really wants the monkey, since they're the ones going for primates. So I think the deny snap here makes sense. And then what we can do is we can build over here, size 3, perfect and pick up the tortoise. And we can also touch the last water for native seabirds. And no need to overbuild. Kiosks, it's not really a good kiosk spot. I mean, over here is 2, but that kills our aviary. Here, I think maybe is okay, but I think it would be break even. I just don't think we really need to spend money on an unnecessary kiosk, and I don't think we're going to be filling maps, so it's okay. Opponent does release their frilled lizard. Fair enough. Gets the bonus. Upgrades. Grabs a worker, which makes sense. You don't need 2 sizes. You got 2 ready to go over here. You got built coming up. You want to maybe grab a university. I think that makes sense. So we play seabirds for max appeal. And here we're picking between the stork and the spider monkey. So the spider monkey and the squirrel monkey show their faces again. Maybe I should have... So, the monkeys let us maybe fight for primates. But again, there's no guarantee that monkeys are going to be showing up. But also, I mean, if a monkey release or a America release shows up, that's going to be really good. But I think a similar logic applies for the stork, where if a bird release or a Europe release shows up, that's also going to be really good. And I think with the bottled owl hut synergy, and I think with maybe potentially building an aviary, I think the stork, I decided to go with the stork. Opponent takes card, snaps the secretary bird. It is an African animal. I guess that makes sense. Primatologist shows up. Kicking myself for not keeping the squirrel monkey. I shouldn't have betrayed him. He did so well for me last game. I should have held steadfast. So we don't have much money. We played the horse from range. A nice 9 appeal, 7 money animal. Could have played the vulture, but I think we don't need to use the 3 size here if we can play the horse, right? Opponent builds a 4 size, makes sense. And if you remember, they also have a rhino, so they could play the secretary bird, build an aviary, free this up. put the Rhino in there. What is going on here? Give me a second. How do I stop this? I don't want to refresh the page because that's gonna... What's going on? Okay, sorry about this, but I don't know how to stop it, so you'll just have to bear with me, I guess. So, all right, we're up. We got a project to do. We are doing bird breeding. So getting a little bit punished for not upgrading cards. But you know, that's what we signed up for. Maybe I should just upgrade cards instead of a association. We would have been able to get the rep. So now it's between conservation and large animal. Don't think we're going to be playing that many large animals, and we're probably going to be doing a couple more projects. So keep the conservation zoo. No donation. I think we are a little bit tight on money, especially with the tortoise that we want to play. I think you know, our opponent doesn't have upgraded association, so I think we're going to have free reign over the donations for a bit. And so I'd rather keep the money. Opponent grabs a university. Makes sense. We X down build. Makes sense. We don't need to be taking build anytime soon. Opponent plays a secretary bird. That was expected. And the flamingo. And so now they got 5 Africa. And so they were at a little bit of a point deficit, but made that up real quick. And again, something to note, there's a primatologist and the collared mangabe on display. And I am just kicking myself for not keeping the spider monkey. So I don't want to take cards. I have plenty of cards. I'm not in a rush to cause the break. I still have 2 workers. I have 2 workers, but I don't have really any projects to do, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll just play the hydrologist from range. And a low mountain range shows up. That would have been perfect for us, for the stork. But our opponent also has a secretary bird, which is even more perfect for them. So they get a very juicy low mountain range there. Since I don't have a project to do, and if I X down, you know, cards, let's say our opponent breaks, our Soch is going to be at 4. There's not really a project for us to do. So I just opt to grab the 3rd partner zoo. That gets us our last worker, and that is worth 2 shields. So I think that's a pretty reasonable action to take there. And opponent breaks. So I ditch the stork. Low mountain range is gone, so I think there's not as much value in that. I keep the sea cave. You know, I think the potential of the project is much better than the potential of the stork. The bush baby shows up, perfect for the opponent. Massive points for very cheap. And so here we have a few options. I think I make a mistake here. I snapped the quaddy. So my plan was snap the quaddy, play primatologist, and then play the mangabe and the squirrel monkey, and that lets us take cards and clever down build. But our opponent has this draw spot, and so they can they can draw up the manga bay and deny it from us. And so I think we should snap up the manga bay so that we can play and then play the primatologist, so we can at least secure the manga bay. Because the opponent doesn't want the quaddy. Like the quaddy is like so bad for them. Like it's going to give us 2 points if they play it, right? So I should definitely have just taken this, but I didn't. So I think that was a mistake. So I play the primatologist. I think our opponent should just look to drop the manga bay on their card draw spot here and punish us. But they do Africa 5. They get 12 money. Maybe they get 2 size and cover it up and draw it up. But I'll take it. Not punished. So we can play the manga bay. And the squirrel monkey. And here with our cards, I decided to snap up the diversity researcher. I think there's some potential there for some endgame points and a little bit of money. We are definitely could use the money, right? So that's what I decided to go for. Opponent builds a size 5. Yeah, like if they were going to build a size 5, I think they could have just done that before doing their project and then drawn up the monkey and denied it from me. The Dugong. Hello, Dugong. So we do Africa 2. So yeah, like the manga bee was super clutch for us because otherwise we wouldn't have had a project to do. We grabbed Asia Partner Zoo. We did grab Asia Partner Zoo. So like, I guess if we didn't have the manga bee, we could maybe play the Thorny Devil. But the manga bee, I mean, basically gave us a determination, right? It let us get the cards out of the way. Because we are missing a continent for Habitats 4. And we get the very powerful clever bonus, since we do have 3 unused workers. Having the clever is going to be very, very useful. So our opponent takes their animals action. They play the bush baby, which also happens to be a primate, and the mandrill. So he goes from 2 monkeys to 5 monkeys in one fell swoop. At the very least, we get 9 money as a consolation prize. But I thought I was in pretty good shape, and now, I mean, he has 2 workers. He's gonna be able to do monkeys 5. I mean, we are very close to them ending the game, and we have like all these things that we still want to be doing. So they get the ×2 on their cards action. So now what do we do, right? We don't really have money we don't have the X token to play 2 animals. Not that there are 2 animals we really want to be playing. We only have the size 3 and the size 2 enclosure. I decided to break 5 here for the 10 money so that I can play the tortoise. Our opponent can break, but I think they'd rather do the project, right? So they do the project. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they broke, but here we are. They break, they get size 2s. So makes sense why they got the 12 money from earlier, so they could play the mandrill. And they are very, very close to ending the game. If they had maybe like an expert in Africa, they could end the game this round, but I can't worry about monsters under the bed, right? We got to play for a win. If we cause the break, I don't really know. Our opponent can very easily end the game, the first turn, next round. So I'd rather get our animals out, and hopefully, you know, he can't end the game this round. So I played the turtle. I sell the vulture and the diversity researcher. I'm debating selling the sea cave, but I don't need the 4 money. And the sea cave, worst case, I can release the giant tortoise. I could maybe keep the vulture, but then I wouldn't have enough money to play the quaddy. If I keep the vulture, then I can sea cave, release it, play the vulture into the size 3. But I don't have the money. So now, maybe if I had 5 extra money for whatever reason, I could keep the vulture and have the potential there. But we gotta play the hand that we gotta lay in the bed that we've made. So now we have to sell the vulture so that we can play the quaddy. And we do make up a pretty solid point deficit. If our opponent ends, at the very least, we can do a sea cave and release a tortoise for 4 points. There is an argument to be made to play the Thorny Devil. But if we play the Thorny Devil, then we're 1 X token short of doing a project. So I think this hedges our bets the best way. Our opponent can end, so he takes cards. Lucky for us. And now we really get to cook. So let's see what's going on here. Our opponent has first snap. They take up the Cobra. I think that makes sense. They can't play anything else. And I guess we can play the Cobra, though they are out of hypnosis range. I am eyeing this Dugong. And we have 34 money. And if we have hydrologists, so if we build size 2 here, we get 1 money. We build a size 5 here, get the 5 money. We are just barely short. I did the math earlier. I do believe we end up with 32 money after building the size 5 enclosure, and we need 38 to play both of these. So we could have clevered down association, clevered down cards, built a size 2, and then built the size 5 as our action, and then they end the game, and then we can go, Sun Bear Dugong into Habitats 4. But alas, we can't. So I'm trying to figure out what to do here, and I spent a lot of time thinking through the different lines, and I want to give a shout out to my opponent for being patient with me. I spent a lot of time thinking here. I feel like it was a very critical juncture. And so I think the options are reindeer, breeding core, and cheetah. And so, if we take the breeding core, that lets us do monkeys 4. If we take the cheetah, we can build a size 5, as we were going to do for the Dugong, but then just play the cheetah. But the cheetah's only 6 points. If this was like a better point animal, I think that would have been the better play. And we can take the reindeer if we want to release the tortoise and then We can do Sun Bear Reindeer. We don't have another project to do because we're actually short one habitat, but we could just do Sea Cave, Sun Bear Reindeer, and then grab another habitat for the shield here and the donation. We have just enough money to do everything if we take the reindeer. So that's the line I decided to go with. Grab the reindeer. Build for the X, because why not? We have just enough money to play to play these and then do 2 donations. So I think the X token has more potential. So I have the first action this round. I do Sea Cave, and the minuscule amount of points it generates from releasing a size 3 8 appeal animal actually helps us now, because we can go to exactly 99. And so our opponent plays the Ibex, and yeah, just the Ibex also goes to 99. We're playing a little bit of a endgame chicken here as to you know, who wants to cross first. So now I see a really good opportunity, because right now if I do Sun Bear Reindeer, I don't have enough X tokens to grab a partner zoo and do a project. But luckily for us, our opponent played the Ibex, so we can actually just spend 2 X tokens to break. And at the very least, that lets us go Sun Bear Reindeer into like partner zoo habitats 4. So here I kind of brain fart a little bit. I probably should have snapped the Duskleaf Monkey, because that lets us do Sun Bear Monkey into Monkeys 4. But what did I do? I snapped the science library. My thinking was, oh, he's gonna do a project, do marketing. He's gonna play the science library. The science library is gonna get him 1 point plus an end game. That's 4 points. But the monkey, I guess the monkey was worth 3 points for me. So denying 4 points from the opponent is like technically better. But if our opponent has like a different sponsor that they can play, then getting the monkey for ourselves is definitely better. I just kind of overlooked it. Again, it was like the end of the game. I was like a little bit tired, like not as focused, so I like missed that. But I think especially, at the end of the game, you got to be you got to be super sharp as to not give away those small percentage edges, right? So yeah, our opponent sees that. They take away the monkey from us. I think that makes sense. I think our opponent really should end the game now. But they don't. They X down. I guess they didn't have enough X tokens to do a project. So they just X down their sponsors. But that lets us play Breeding Core, which is actually going to give us an extra 2 shields, because it's going to let us do Monkeys 4. And it's going to give us an endgame shield, since we're going to have done 5 projects. So that's very good for us. Happy about that. Opponent snaps up sponsorship Primates, which is going to be a nice 5-point action for them from the marketing spot. So at this point, there's no other things we can do to get more points. So I think it's time to end the game. I think with the Sun Bear giving us our 3rd bear token, getting an extra 2 appeal, being able to do monkeys 4, getting a donation in. I think we're getting the last partner zoo. I think we're a lock for this game. Our opponent doesn't have any aviary capabilities, so no eagles coming in. We have the sun bear, so no sun bear coming in from them. And so I think the game is pretty locked there. So they do low mountain range, release a secretary bird, play sponsorship primates. A very reasonable last action, but I mean we got the termination from the sun bear, just too good, and then also all the end games. So we win 147 to 127. So that concludes the match review. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was informative. Happy to hear any feedback that you may have, what you liked, what you didn't. And want to give a shout out to my opponent who played really well, who was really flexible with the game timing, and who was really patient because I did spend a decent chunk of time thinking through a lot of these actions. It's my first tournament game, so I really wanted to play the best that I could. All right. Take care, everyone.